Just testing out DayZ servers at the moment. So if you hear Emma, she heard there's a bit of hype going on about DayZ, so she's got her own server. Anybody wants to come and join?
No, I've had my server for ages.
I know.
It's just, yeah, it's not an open server.
It's a special one. You have to come into the on the level to come and talk. But it's like a server. DayZ's next level server. Also do debates. Actually talk to people. Welcome. I'm going to put a Buster song on. Any suggestions, anyone? I don't know whether I've updated all of this.
Euclid night. We can put on Dead Straight Lines.
Did I put that one in here? I didn't.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah. Dead Straight Lines, there it is. I'll give you guys the screen. Rather fitting one. Okay.
What's in reality, and I won't compromise between the truth and lies. This is where I make my stand. Please don't take me to your la-la land. It's all about geometry. All we see is horizontally. Show me what's in reality, and I won't compromise between the truth and lies. Show me what's in reality, and I won't compromise between the truth and lies. Reality is all I see. I don't need your fantasy. I've had enough of sophistry. I'll find my own philosophy. Reality is all I see. I don't need your fantasy. I've had enough of sophistry. I'll find my own philosophy, and you can't bend what you think. Your card deceives. Something's happening. happening to me. Don't remind me of how things used to be. We don't need no sycophants. Are we all just so sick of that?
Oh, welcome. I like that one. Well done. Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, that was a nice track, that.
Logic Night. No, it's not Logic Night, is it? It's Euclid. Same thing, though.
Yeah.
Kevin's got a t-shirt. Another one. Coming through thick and fast. Mine will be coming soon. I just got mine. Forget to share. I know there's not many people watching. We've got a lot of competition tonight.
I'm about to place a couple of orders for shirts as well.
Nice.
I said, Sean can't shut up. Someone X11 typed in there, just like that. Like, your name hasn't even been mentioned like all day, and this guy just brings it up, stuck in his head. You got him good, man. I got to admit, it's the 3-letter name, dude.
Oh.
Like, if your name
Oh, you're
was
breaking up pretty bad. Is that?
I don't think they would say it as.
It's when they come in looking for a girl somewhere. I'm sorry. I have had a bit of a chat today with Blue, which is, I mean, the way the Logos works. Let me see if I can get the in the background. I'll see if I can get this comment thread up of Blue from last night, so you can have a look at what Blue's going on about. There's quite a lot of replies on this one. He only did it 2 hours ago. And strangely enough, we all think that was maybe about the time I was setting the stream up for today. Euclid reality. So let's go with that. Guys, can you see that on the YouTube? Yeah, it looks all right. Oh, you guys want to be able to see it as well, don't you? I was telling you about this before. This is Blue, and now this is Blue talking about our water level test, but me and Spot On did this test. Well, we've been developing it over for a few years, and we wanted to do it on our own first. Like, it's a personal thing, so we did it, and we've done it on our own, and we made it so we can do it cheap enough that we weren't putting ourselves out of pocket. The idea was to develop a test that was simple enough that anyone could do, really. Well, that's not to say everyone. It cost £100 for the equipment for this test, and then obviously it's not only you need somebody else to do it with you and all of that sort of thing. So the idea was us to develop a test. Now, we did that in the summer last year, and there wasn't an awful lot of looking into it. Well, people have said quite a fair few things about it, but nobody's really looked into the test. And what Blue's said today, I don't know why Blue's done this, but shout out Blue for bringing the test back up again. Sort of the Logos maybe from what we were doing today. So This is Blue. I can't really do a Blue's voice. So it might be better Turn Up if Turn Up can do it. Redmond's quite good at doing Blue, isn't he? So he says, how many points do you need to define an arc, Bev? So it's just a part of a circle, isn't it? And I know how many points you need to describe a circle, so I'm guessing it's about the same as that. 2. Centre point, distance from centre. 2 points. Arc. Blue says, I've got news for you. 2 won't do it. Which was a bit of a shock. Because that's the only way you can define or describe an arc is by the radius, right? That's 2 points. Straight line. Sorry, Blue, but I mean, yeah. And he says, when you take only the 2 ends of a water level, all you can do is define a straight line. I agree. The shortest distance between those 2 points is a straight line. But it's on a horizontal plane. That's the plane contains all of the straight lines within it. So the tool establishes a horizontal plane of reference. But the 2 points and the shortest distance between the two would have to be a straight line, but also horizontal. Straight line with neither end being higher nor lower than the other. That's a horizontal. So thanks, Blue. So Blue continues, because obviously that's not going to be enough. He says you have 2 water levels or 1 with a centre tap to show the curvature. I mean, I'm not too sure what that. Anybody? You have 2 TWO. You have 2 water levels or 1 with a centre tap to show the curvature. I.e.
Is he saying 1 from A to B and then another one with A and B with an upright in the middle?
Well, I think he means you have 2. Have to have 2 water levels or 1 with a centre tap to show the curvature. He just means an upright in the centre.
Yeah.
Right. He says, i.e. the very test you refuse to do and the only way it can be done in reality. Right, well, news for you, Blue. We did have 2, and they didn't have just 1 centre tap. They had a quarter centre tap as well. A quarter tap on them, and that was the overlap. So, like, not only have you said we refuse to do it, we have actually done it. That's the test.
You haven't come around to ask us. No one's come around to ask us.
No.
Inquire or anything.
Think of all of those times we went over there. And he never bothered
more assumptions
asking.
About... Yeah.
And I said, we've already done the test, Blue. Can you not remember when I said I could prove that level is horizontal? And you said that you could prove it wasn't. I said that because we've already done the test. I said I could prove it was horizontal, and just to do that, I think. Right, you guys in here listening to this, yeah, right? This one's for you, Blue. We'll get it done at the beginning. This is I recorded 6 months ago on the comments. Listen to this.
On your model, Bev, on a flat Earth.
No, Blue,
level
no,
and horizontal
Blue, stop
would be
it.
the same.
Blue,
okay, then
stop
tell me
it.
what your model is.
I don't have a
then.
model. I
I'm
do
okay,
not
fine.
have a model.
Well,
other
I
than
do.
saying level
I do.
is horizontal?
I do, and my model says level is not horizontal.
Brilliant. I say I can prove that level is horizontal.
And I say I can prove it is not.
Brilliant.
Baby, yeah, my pretty baby.
There you go. Bit of a sing out for STST. Quite a bit ago. Right, so that's Blue saying
Nice.
that he can prove. He says he can prove that level isn't horizontal.
Sorry, Bev, was that STST guy on his video, or did you put that in there?
So yeah, I did that mix.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just thought it was on the original.
On the original of the Blue one, yeah. Yeah. That was a big moment, right? Blue said he could prove that level isn't horizontal. Slope, that was the big slope video. I'll put that in the anyone want to share? Anyone wants to share the video out on the YouTubes? That's the one that where Blue states that he can prove that water level. That's when initially we started the challenge, the proof for proof challenge. So, yeah, that's Blue. Right. So, Blue says, that's what I said about that. Then Blue says, you ran a test that can't show curvature, Bev. Well, it can't. It's a rectilinear test. It's a straight line test. There's no curvature. That's what the test's for. It's to show a straight line. How you can do practical Euclidean geometry in reality. We'll get onto that in a bit. But this is the point of the reality Euclidean geometry in reality on Euclid night. I know you're listening, Blue. And he says, you could come in and voice all of these yourself. Blue. You ran a test that can't show curvature, Bev. It's a bogus test. Can't you remember telling me that all you've proven is that water is level using a water level to prove it? No, Blue. It's a straight line test. It's a rectilinear test to prove the first proposition, book 11 in Euclid. If you'd have asked us at some point, we would have told you. But nobody did. It's easy to tell. So, he says, you absolutely have to have a straight line between the end points to measure the center against, and that's the part you refuse to do. You need to set up a 1 arc second theodolite or auto level aligned with the midpoint of a long water level. 1,600 yards would be good. Interesting. It's a good measurement. And measure the drop at each end. I'll say that again. Say that again this is the one for everybody's listening. This is Blue setting up a test. You need to set up a 1 arc second theodolite or auto level. Sounds like he's been talking to George. Aligned with the midpoint of a long water level. 1,600 yards would be good. And measure the drop at each end. Measure the drop at each end. It's going to be 2 inches, and you know it. No, Blue. There's no drop. None. 0. Zilch. Even altitude. It's a water level, Blue. You could also set your instrument at one end and align it with the far end and measure the center, which will be 2 inches high. double drop, high hump, 2-inch hump, double drop, hump.
Double drop hump.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Blue. And Blue says, until you conduct a proper test, you have absolutely nothing other than a very stable logical argument that sort of goes to show that you've just said a paradox in that one sentence.
Uh-oh, not the paradox word.
Yeah, it's a big hot topic at the minute. That's why we're going to go on to it tonight. I said it's just a rectilinear test done in reality using Euclidean geometric principles, Blue. Don't worry, it's only done as part of our Proofs in Reality series. Feel free to join the discussion about proofs and how we can obtain them anytime. Which I thought that was a pretty good description of what we did. Right, our test is like how close can we get a proof, and can we do it ourselves cheaply?
Oh, yeah, that is the whole point of it. Yeah.
Mm.
Simple test, inexpensive, repeatable.
Yeah, demonstrable, verifiable,
And you can pass it on to somebody else and explain it to them, and they can do it for themselves. You got a lot of bits here that work, yeah?
And Blue has verified that that is the correct way to do this test.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we got
And
that too, yeah.
I've got McToon saying it as well, what we need to do. Apart from the bit about when they start going, you need to cite it, because everybody knows that's a joke. The Dark Shark was a branded product made by DP and the House of Ruhif. So Blue says, it isn't a test of any sort, Bev, other than maybe a leak check. Which is, I guess, one better than Slice Barcane. Right? Because we didn't have any leaks. We'd already done the leak tests. For like a month beforehand. Did loads of
You mean you tested it before you brought it to the field?
Absolutely. One of the
some
first
smart
things
thinking.
you do. Yeah.
Yeah. Unlike what they did.
Mm. We checked it first with a 100 metre water level to check all of that and did all of the preliminary tests. And then we scaled it up a bit bigger. Made it 400 metres. And Blue says, and I really hope you stick to this word, Blue says, don't worry, we won't let you get away with misrepresenting what you did. Good, Blue. I hope you do not misrepresent what we did. Because we come with some dialogue and we'll try and explain to you exactly what we did. And what we will be doing for the next time. Anybody else that wants to come and join us, feel free. It's just a test. Come and discuss it. Basic geometric principles, which we'll be going over tonight. Nicely enough.
This is not the first time. Sorry.
Go on.
It's not the first time that Blue brought up this double drop hump. If you guys remember, a couple of months back with the LIGO fiasco, you remember the canal?
Yeah.
There's a canal 2.5 miles long that runs alongside LIGO. I'm sure everybody knows that. Well, Blue says that it drops on either end by, I believe it was 4 inches.
Yeah,
and it was
earthworks. It was they didn't move dirt because they needed to save, but that was that
was something else with Rakia. Yeah, that's a whole different issue. This was a bet that I initiated with him. I forget. I said, let's make it $1,000. I said, and he said, let's make it $10,000.
Whoa!
And this is the canal. Yeah, the water in the canal bending 4 inches on either side.
Yeah,
So I
that's
imagine there would
model
be a hump
affliction.
there as well in the center.
Model affliction. Yeah, the drop turns into a hump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody there want to go halfers? You want to make 5,000? You can initiate this test if you like. I'll authorize it. We'll go halfers.
So I replied to Blue. I said, you don't know what we did or the Euclidean geometric principles involved in it because you've never asked. You'll no doubt try your best to misrepresent our test into your strawman representation of what you think it is anyway. And I put, have you checked that you're okay to do this with the council? Or maybe checked with Sly, Sparkane, to help and see if you're okay going forward with this. So I was just checking with him. Because, I mean, sometimes people get involved in arguments that they're not really aware of the implications of where they're meant to be going with the certain arguments. So I was just checking if Blue's okay with that. Blue says, I know what you're doing, Bev, and it's fatally flawed. You can bamboozle your lapdogs into believing you've done a test, but you've actually done nothing to show the shape of the Earth. Quite right. It's just a straight line test, Blue. Just like you said. It does a straight line, so that's what we were doing. It's a straight line test. The first proposition in book 11. Solid geometry. Reality geometry. That's why we do Euclid. Those of us who actually studied Euclidean geometry well before you were born, and anyone else that actually understands it can figure out your shared straight line segment is the flaw. Those segments aren't shared, and you've done no sort of test to prove that they are or aren't. Nathan got pretty upset with Ratchy when I took her apart. What's he going to do when I destroy your test? Maybe you should pre-apologize to him. Blue's gonna do the Euclidean straight line test in reality. Good on you, Blue. I hope you don't misrepresent anything and stick to your word. I don't think I bothered with that. I'm just waiting for Blue to come back and destroy the argument. So good luck to you, Blue. I think there's going to be a video coming out soon, so get ready for Blue Marble drama. It's going to be coming out. Do you want to hear the listen to this again.
On your model, Biff, on a flat Earth,
no, Blue,
level
no,
and horizontal
Blue,
will
stop
be the
it.
same.
Blue,
okay, then
stop
tell me
it.
what your model is.
I don't have a
then.
model. I do not
fine.
have a model.
Well,
Other than saying level is horizontal.
I do, and my model says level is not horizontal.
Brilliant. I say I can prove that level is horizontal.
And I say I can prove it is not.
Brilliant.
Baby, yeah, my pretty baby. I want to walk down the beach with you, yeah.
You know, you obviously think level means flat. There has to be bendy water. You know, there just has to be.
Just has to be bendy water. It just has to be. That's special for Blue, that. It has to be, otherwise it's not there. And it has to be there because Blue's looking for it. So good luck, Blue. Discord. There we go. stop streaming that, right? Okay. Oh, we've got a chat. Mike Jones is challenged. Where's Wally of the number 2, the Wolf Pack number 2? Where's Wally? Self-proclaimed number 2. I don't think we've ever had Wolfie come over and tell us he is actually the number 2. But Where's Wally claims number 2. He's also got a proof in videos. He's made multiple videos about the proof for Dave Weiss. So we're keeping a close eye on proofs. Proof Project 2022 is a keen eye. We definitely keep an eye on proofs and who's claiming what proofs, because we're after SE. We're after trying to send SE to talk to anyone that is claiming some sort of a proof. Then we can find out what proofs actually are. And it was pretty good. So, where's Wally? If you want to come and have a word with SE about the proof. But on Saturday, Mike is going to be letting Where's Wally. Hopefully we can, if he's too shy and he doesn't actually want to come in the VC and talk to Mike about it, Mike said he will do text chat trolls, and Where's Wally can just sit in the chat, answer yes or no to certain questions, and Mike will just get a couple of clarifiers, and then Mike will be putting his rebuttal to point out where Where's Wally's made a massive mistake in his particular proof for the globe.
Or at least that's what Mike Jones claims for now.
Yeah. Mike just wants to come in on Saturday and have a word with him to get a few clarifying points from Where's Wally. And then he said he'll come back with his thing. But it's the sort of thing Betty was doing. Betty always wanted definitions and stuff, just some clarifying points. I guess it's sort of active listening type thing in progress. And as we are talking about the proofs in reality, then we can be dealing in reality. I've got myself some new pens today. But I want to get, seeing as it's Euclid, I'll get this Should we go over the definitions again? Should we go over the definitions, but this time go book 11? We'll skip the circle book for at the minute.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So
sounds good.
Yeah. Because, I mean, there's contentions and arguments and discussions that go in through Euclid that are, well, they're for other times. Different types of conversations, but we're just trying to nail home at the beginning all of the sort of the basic concepts. I'll get both of these pages in here. And we'll go over right. Got some pictures. I'll get it in. I'll put it in the other chat. Right. Euclid in reality is done within reality, obviously, because that's the idea. We're after finding proofs in reality, I'll get these in. Right. You guys, you want to look in? I've got them in the Agents Live. If you want to follow along, otherwise it'll be on the YouTube, on the pages on the YouTube. This isn't meant to be a boring maths lesson. This is meant to be. This is very closely linked to the reality part of what we're doing, and the reality part being this is a way to describe reality. It's a logical way and a logical process. This entire book is laid out as a logic book, and the first half, the bit that we did over the last few days of the axioms and the definitions, we're going to have to go back over them again because they're the basic concepts of it. But this is what it's all about. All of those things in the other books leading up to book 11 is the giving you the foundations of what you're meant to be doing. You know, like all of the understandings of the triangles and all of that. So you take those principles of circles, triangles, prime numbers, all of that with it into this book 11, solid geometry. This is the geometry of reality. I say this is where the proof that non-Euclidean geometry is a load of shite, because non-Euclidean geometry doesn't work at this point. This is the proof that Euclidean geometry works in reality, because that's where we're at. So because we'll have to go through this a fair few times, and I don't want to bog everyone down with it, but it follows the same principles of Euclid of the past, except he only ever needs to redefine things when something new comes up. And then, since this is the first step into solid reality, 3 dimensions, he has to start redefining some of the terms that he had used before, because obviously there's an extra dimension. So book 11, building upon all of the stuff that comes before it, proof on proof on proof, leads you to here, and they have to do redefinitions. So a solid, it's the first mention. A solid is that which has length, breadth, and thickness. That's 3 dimensions: length, breadth, thickness. 3 dimensions. In the past, we were talking about plane geometry on a plane with 2 dimensions, length and breadth. Now we've got 3 dimensions, so we've added another dimension in. It's needed because it wasn't there before. Number 2, that which bounds a solid is a superficies, a surface. Pretty simple. That which bounds the solid. It's 3-dimensional, so that which bounds it makes it a 3-dimensional surface. Or the surfaces would be, if it was a square, well, that's a plane shape, so the surface would be a plane because it's a square. It's that bounds a cube would be a load of squares, so that would be 2D. But there are other shapes that are not plane. Not everything's a polygon. I think it is in Euclid and it is in Plato. Here we go. Number 3. A straight line is perpendicular or at right angles to a plane when it makes right angles with every straight line meeting it in that plane. and the plane contains all of the straight lines. So a straight line is perpendicular or at right angles to a plane when it makes right angles with every straight line meeting it in that plane. So if you have a horizontal plane, definition 3, people, in book 11, penny should be dropping. We go number 4. A plane is perpendicular to a plane when the straight lines drawn in one section of the planes perpendicular to the common section of the two planes are perpendicular to the other plane. It's a bit of a mouthful. A plane is perpendicular to a plane when the straight lines drawn in one of the planes perpendicular to the common section of the two planes are perpendicular to the other plane. It's all about perpendicular straight lines and planes. The inclination of a straight line to a plane is the acute angle contained by that straight line and another drawn from the point at which the first line meets the plane to the point at which the perpendicular to the plane drawn from any point in the first line above the plane meets the same plane. It's a bit of a mouthful as well. I mean, that might even be something that they'd be getting rid of if it was an axiom. It'd be like, that reads really badly. Can we not say we just don't need it? Call it something else. But it's just, again, the inclination of a straight line to a plane is the acute angle contained by that straight line. It means that it's an acute angle because if you go past the 90 degrees, you're talking about the other side of the angle. Like, it's always an acute angle because it's to the plane. Inclination of a plane to a plane is the acute angle contained by two straight lines drawn from any of the same point on their common section at right angles to it, one in one plane and the other in the other plane. Like, it sort of says you've got two planes, but you can count the angle as being two lines on those planes. Two planes are said to have the same or like inclination to one another, which two planes have when the said angles of inclination are equal to one another. Two planes are said to have the same or like inclination to one another, which two other planes have when the said angles of inclination are equal to one another. Number 8. Parallel planes are such as do not meet one another though produced. That's right. Parallel planes. So they do exist in Euclidean geometry. Wonder why that'd be if they made up another geometry. Oh, that mustn't be in solid geometry, that. This is the geometry of reality. Parallel planes are such as do not meet one another though produced. Number 9. Solid angle is that which is made by more than two plane angles which are not in the same plane meeting at one point. So a solid angle is that which is made by more than two plane angles. It's sort of like that's an angle in reality, right? Two planes not in the same plane meeting at one point. that's a measured angle. So when we say you can't measure an angle to a curve, it's meant as you can't measure an angle to a curve. It's just an angle. Equal and similar solid figures are such as contained by similar planes, equal in number and magnitude. It says seen in notes, but it's things that are the same are the same. It's just a recapping of the like the equal, the common notations as said within Euclid, I think. Similar solid figures are such that have all of their solid angles equal each to each and are contained by the same number of similar planes. That's a law of identity, right? A recapping of the law of identity. For some reason, it seems that they have to put it back in with the definitions. Maybe they use it or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just they're saying that, in order to go into the 3 dimensions, that they're just adding it, putting it back in. A pyramid is a solid figure contained by planes which are constructed between one plane and one point above it at which they meet. A prism is a solid figure contained by planes, figures of which 2 are opposite, are equal, similar and parallel to one another, and the others are parallelograms. See, these are shapes that can't exist in non-Euclidean geometry. It's parallels. I know, I'm sorry guys, but this is solid geometry. Pyramid. Oh, this is the one. You like this one. A sphere is a solid figure described by the revolution of a semicircle about its diameter, which remains fixed. That's the best it can do for a sphere. The axis of a sphere is the fixed straight line about which the semicircle revolves. The axis of a sphere is the fixed straight line about which the semicircle revolves. In order to describe a sphere, it seems you have to have an axis for it. That's weird, isn't it? Center of a sphere is the same with that of the semicircle. Makes sense. The diameter of a sphere is any straight line which passes through the center and is terminated both ways by the superficies of the sphere. So that's definitely putting the superficies on the outside of the sphere. Right? Because that's the termination point of a... So it's a 3-dimensional shape with the superficies at the outside of it terminated at the both ends of every diameter that crosses it. That's 3D. For sure.
Oh, absolutely. No question.
Because this is Euclidean geometry. And that's where it's all defined. The cone is a solid figure described by the revolution of a right-angled triangle about one of the sides containing the right angle, which side remains fixed. If the fixed side be equal to the other side containing the right angle, the cone is called a right-angled cone. If it be less than the other side, an obtuse-angled cone, and if greater, an acute-angled cone. The axis of a cone is the fixed straight line about which the triangle revolves. The base of a cone is the circle described by that side containing the right angle which revolves. That's radius, right? But it doesn't seem to ever mention it as a radius. It's always as described by the diameter. And then as he's talking this, he's talking about the right angle. Right? It's always about that. It's really weird the way that it's described and not the way that you would expect it to be. If it had been wrote as R being the great almighty. It's like R doesn't even really come in as a consideration when describing this, does it? And even in the descriptions. A cylinder is a solid figure described by the revolution of a right-angled parallelogram about one of its sides which remains fixed. Cylinder. The axis of a cylinder is the fixed straight line about which the parallelogram revolves. The bases of a cylinder are the circles described by the two revolving opposite sides of the parallelogram. It's getting a bit yawn. Similar cones and cylinders are those which have their axis and diameters about of their bases proportionals. A cube is a solid figure contained by 6 equal squares. A tetrahedron is a solid figure contained by 4 equal and equilateral triangles. An octahedron is a solid figure contained by 8 equal and equilateral triangles. A dodecahedron is a solid figure contained by 12 equal pentagons, which are equilateral and equiangular. An isosahedron is a solid figure contained by 20 equal and equilateral triangles. And a parallelepiped is a solid figure contained by 6 quadrilateral figures of which every opposite 2 are parallel. It's not used very much that actually anymore, is it? And Proposition 1. This is where we wanted to get to. I don't know if you guys can see that there. Let me copy. Right. There you go. Check this out, Blue. Proposition 1. Book 11. Just done the definitions. We already know what straight lines are and all that. It says, this is Proposition 1. One part of a straight line cannot be in a plane and another part without it. Say it again. One part of a straight line cannot be in a plane and another part without it. So
that's important.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's a really basic concept, isn't it? Like, how do you check for a straight line? Well, you put it in a plane and you make sure that all of that straight line lies within the plane. None of it leaves the plane at all. Now, as we found out just recently, some people don't even have a horizontal plane anymore. And I don't know whether that's part of this understanding of, you know, the way we do things, but we are doing a straight line test. And in order to go through all of the things and the propositions to be able to use Euclid, to use the geometry and use the geometrical principles that we've got within this, then we're going to have to use Euclid. You're going to have to, if you're looking for proofs, especially to do with shape, then we're going to go and check for the straight line. Now, knowing that one part of a straight line cannot be in a plane and another part without it, and we're trying to find all of these proofs within reality, we're trying to basically replicate these proofs into reality as closely as we can. And seeing as we're just normal blokes, normal people, it can't be expensive. We don't need to do any massive GoFundMes. Or we didn't want to do any massive GoFundMes because it was just a test for us. Like, the moment you get everybody else involved in these tests, then you start having to do it for other people. It was one of the stipulations we needed when we were doing our test. Blue, thank you very much for bringing this back up again. That we wanted to do it ourselves, so we devised this test. Now, I think I might try and run you through it. Exactly how we did it, running through all of these basic logos things and how we use and what we're looking for within this test. So we're trying to find a straight line, and like Raven, is Raven in here? No, I hope you're listening, Raven. Thank you for the thing. We need to define everything. Make sure what it is we're talking about is true. So, since we're using Euclidean geometry, we can take it as said that plane, perpendicular, parallel, straight are all defined within Euclidean geometry. There's no need for us to redefine any of those. That's been quite clearly done within Euclidean geometry. All we have to do is to clarify the things we are going to be using in reality in order to do this test. Well, we're starting off very simple with one part of a straight line cannot be in a plane and another part without it. Well, we've checked the auto level, and the auto level will go 50 meters and 50 meters either way, so you get 100 meters with an auto level. That's not enough for some people, because you have to you're talking micrometers needed to be fitted, and what the Ruhif numbers that have been given to us. Actually, it's a straight line, so all we're trying to do is a straight line. And we'll forget about the naysayers for now, because they're going to come on their own. But initially, we were trying to prove this to ourselves. So the only naysayers were me and Spot On, because it was our test. And we had to only prove it to ourselves. But we are quite thorough. And it has to be a proof. So that's when we started hitting upon the logic and the geometry. But having the practical background and the logos of the canal being there, and eventually us just sort of doing it. Right, so it came up to us that we were thinking about this, and how do you prove a straight line in reality? Well, you could measure something, but then you've still got to question the shortest distance between 2 points. You have to make sure that they are on the same plane. These 2 points has to be measured horizontally, because that's the only way you can get an exact a distance. If it's not horizontal, the line will be lit larger. So should I put the camera on? Is my video going on? No, let me just check with that. Switch the virtual camera on. And
yeah, you're good.
Whiteboard. Still looking a bit fuzzy, that. I'm not really that happy about it.
It's good on this side.
Is it? Better?
It seems to be a little fuzzy on Discord, but on YouTube it's better.
Is it? I think there's an autofocus. Right, so if we have, here's a straight line. Now, if you measure a distance, let's see. If you're wanting to go from here to here, then you measure the distance across this horizontal plane. Because if you say that, let's say you go from here, like there, to here, that line there, because it's a right angle triangle here, this line would be called the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is always longer than this distance here, or one of the other sides. The hypotenuse is always the longest side, and it's always opposite the right angle. So in order for you to measure the shortest distance, you have to measure on this horizontal plane. Have to. But the question then comes, how do you know? How do you know it's on this horizontal? And you only know it's horizontal. I'll come back onto here for a moment. You only know it's horizontal when you measure that distance across the land. When you make it horizontal, you have to measure the horizontal distance. I know I keep saying it. That's because horizontals actually exist in reality. Unlike some people who have a model. And that model dictates that the horizontal can't exist. So if you want to measure and make sure that the straight line is there, then you use a tool that establishes a horizontal. And that horizontal is is a water level. So the water level being a tool, which we know because we worked in the trade, that we tested the 100 meter. So we decided to get the 400 meter one, make it a bit bigger. And I think I went over this yesterday with the drop and the hump. Which I will be going over it again, because I think the other way of showing how the drop and the hump works, I'll get on the board in a minute. I need to go and make a brew though, guys. I'm gagging for a brew. So anybody want to have a chat for a bit while I just go and make myself a brew? Oh, Spot On's gone. I'll put another song on. I'll put a Buster song on. True level.
Yes, this is basic geometry. Your flat Earth geometry. Flat Earth geometry. This is basic geometry.
It is.
I called you a flat earther.
My name's Ramsey.
Insisting that your flat Earth geometry will work.
I'm familiar with the bubble, Morty. I also dabble in precision, and if you think you can even approach it with your sad, naked caveman eyeball in a bubble of air, you're the reason this species is a failure, and it makes me angry.
Did he say a five-sided square, question mark?
You're a universal horizontal waterer.
You're drunk.
I called you a flat earther.
You want to experience true level? Do you? Yes. You want to experience true level?
That auto level is establishing a horizontal. That's just the way it is.
Because I've done the test with an auto level, which gives you a horizontal.
Yeah, it's gonna look super flat.
All right, come on. Wow, it's so.
Three coplanar points.
Oh Christ! Yeah, true level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
If you're into math, there's a certain shape where you could make a five-sided square.
Are you suggesting that horizontal can't curve?
Oh, everything's crooked. Reality is poison. I want to go back. I hate this.
What's his deal?
Morty. Go to school, Summer. I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little.
Randy, come on, that's a globe. And he eventually just gave up and said, yeah, I agree, it's a globe.
Geodesic is a continuous string of infinitely small, straight lines.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
It's really flat and level now.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Lance to the cosmic slaughter! Well? You seem to be in charge of what I get to remember. Why? Good question.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little.
Burn right to the ground in pieces. But from the ashes come.
Wow, it's so. Oh my God! Oh Christ! Yeah, true level, bitch.
If you're into math, there's a certain shape where you could make a five-sided square.
Randy, come on, that's a globe.
Yeah, true level, bitch. Wow, it's so. Oh my god! Oh Christ! Yeah, true level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
True level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
True level, bitch.
I called you a flat earther.
Yeah, true level,
time of
bitch.
a person to think.
When you get to the end of this test and you have a result and you say level is horizontal and everyone says big whoop, that doesn't prove anything about the shape of the earth, will you then say yes it does?
No.
No. Okay, I'm going to bed. Right.
Okay, so you...
I'm going to bed.
That level
No.
is horizontal is good for you then, right?
I agree. I agree. Level's horizontal. All right,
Sweet.
good night.
True level, bitch.
Perfect.
Wow.
Nice, mate. I came in
Nice.
just for that. You flipped it, man.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Right, I'm back. Got myself a brew. Is that working still? Yeah. Right. So the link from Euclid to reality obviously comes because it's made from logic. The logic derives, but the logic is just an explanation. It's a definition. It's a way to describe reality. You don't make geometry up for the fun of it. Like Mr. X said today, I was meaning to catch that. What did I do with it? I think I had it as a... Mr. X posted a link about there needs to be something to define. The object needs to be there to be defined. And that's what Euclidean geometry does. It describes reality. It's a way for us to understand reality and gain our proofs from reality. I know a lot of people have said that they have to give it up. And we've got Rumpus giving up Euclidean geometry. It's a bit embarrassing, really. And then we've got other people, like Brenda gives it up as well. I mean, I know these are only characters that we hear in these in this arena, and they're very loud characters. They're very big voices that we're going to be hearing less and less of. But these are the people that have given up on proof. They've given up on Euclidean geometry. I said I'm going to make them completely give it up. They're going to have to. They will have to give up every semblance of Euclidean geometry because it does not support a model. You can't have a model within this Euclidean geometry system. You will only find out what is there for real. And I'm sorry, and it upsets a lot of people, but it's based upon a horizontal and a vertical. Everybody knows horizontal and a vertical. They're not just lines, they're planes, and they are orientations that exist everywhere. There is nowhere where any of us are where Euclidean geometry does not apply. Level will always be parallel to the plane of the horizon. Horizontals will all be parallel to the plane of the horizon wherever you are. That exists for everybody. And the Euclidean geometry is just a way of describing that. Now, the fact that reality is reality, then there's no need to get upset about it. Just make it fit with your model. It's easy. Just employ horizontal planes onto your model. Mr. X is on fire tonight. the horizontal plane is like in reality, it's classed as a datum, and it's classed as a vertical datum because all horizontal planes are just known to be parallel. So all you have to measure is a vertical change from those established datums. And providing you can establish a horizontal plane, then you can measure the vertical change from that horizontal plane. And there's tools that do this work. The geometry is the reality, right? The geometry describes the reality. And then you can use the proofs within geometry to assemble yourself together to find the truths. The truths have already been established. There's a book full of it. But it's all just filled with logical statements. Like Mr. X in the chat. Come onto the YouTube chat, see what Mr. X is saying. We could do with seeing if we can get those copied. I don't know if Emma can do that on the on that other thing. See whether you can get that. It's got the original next level thing running. It'll be cool. We've already established the horizontal plane is aligned with a straight line adjoining 2 points which it would wholly lie, not partially lie, mind you. Nice setup, Mr. X. So, a test then becomes, we know a water level is a tool for establishing level. And like we say, and I've said for quite a while, ever since I came here, because I came here with this one statement. Level is a straight line on a horizontal plane. DP says within a horizontal plane. But I say all the lines, straight lines lie within, on, that, you know, same thing. But that was my initial statement, and people got upset at it. So it all of this time, it's been trying to find out, is level horizontal? Of course it is. How do you prove it is the question. How do you prove something that you already know? It's established. How do you prove it? You use Euclidean geometry, Euclidean geometric principles in reality, and then you can hold a proof. Simple. Question is, how do you do that? Well, you need to find some way to assemble together a test that closely resembles Euclidean geometry and proves the point for the first proposition in Euclidean geometry. One part of a straight line cannot be in a plane and another part without it. So you get the tool that establishes a horizontal plane. And you make sure that all of those lines, points, or whatever you want to put, all lie within the same plane. No curvature, all straight lines. Well, we did the test ages ago. We've got the many, conceptual things to be able to do this. You just work out a geometric test with a water level. I'll show you one in a minute. And the principles involved in it. And the reasons why logic works just as well to show you the principles. But it's all based around a very simple concept that everybody can get together. There's no there's not going to be any trickery here. There's no wizardry. There's no confusing anybody with anything that you've done at university. This is a basic logic test on the whiteboard as best as I can do to demonstrate it for you with my new pens. Hey, Goldie again. Right. So the test is came from the principles of Euclidean geometry. It's a straight line thing, but in a plane. So you have to take on the concept of a plane, like Mr. X says. It's already been well defined. A plane you've just gone through like 10 books of Euclid, all established on plane geometry. A circle, a square, a triangle, all of those shapes are formed upon a plane. So anything that you think of is a geometry, and looking at it on a piece of paper, that's a plane. That's where this horizontal plane that's being set out is. And the horizontal plane that's being set out is, in reality, we are going to be using a tool called a water level. So if I get the definition of a water level, check all of this sort of stuff for yourself. Water level. Now I have my ones ready, so I don't. All sorts of different tools. But this is from Wiki, and this is from Wiki. When we started doing this, it will be changed because people change their Wiki all the time. The change doesn't really make much difference, but they throw in local. It's not in this one because I think people like us have changed the argument, and we've made it. Somebody's gone in there to Wiki to change Wiki to keep up with the argument. Can't get away from this anyway. A water level device, the actual tool. I'll go to the Merriam-Webster one as well, just to try and get the definitions of all of this right. A water level, in Greek, to ask SE, is any device utilizing the surface of liquid water to establish a horizontal plane of reference. Right, that's any device. It doesn't say it's like within a tube or anything like that. It just says any device. So what's a device? I've not got a clue. Anything, right, that uses water, and water is classed as one body of water. So the water level works because all of the water's connected. It's classed as one body. And the reason it does it, I mean, we can get into that later on, but it always establishes a horizontal plane of reference. Used to determine the apparent inclination of an object or surface, and for matching elevations of locations that are too far apart for a spirit level to span. Again, used to determine the apparent inclination of an object or surface, and for matching elevations of locations that are too far apart for a spirit level to span. So it matches elevations over the distance, and just a further distance than a spirit level. So it will go further than a spirit level. obviously it's a, it's a bigger tool or whatever. So you have a water level. The spirit level's only quite small and used for really local things. So water levels for bigger than a spirit level. The simplest water level is a section of clear tubing partially filled with water. Water is easily procured for use and easily discarded after use. Clear tubing. It's pretty easy. We can do that. That's why we went for the water level for our straight line test. Rectilinear. The ends are held vertical and the rest of the tubing lies on the ground or floor. The water level at each end of the tube will be at the same elevation whether the two ends are adjacent or far apart. So they're at the same elevation. Both ends, the same elevation. Not one higher than the other. Same elevation. Water levels have been used for many years. The water level is lower tech than the laser level, but it can be more accurate over a longer distance and works without a sight line, such as around corners. To avoid error, all of the water should be at the same temperature. And then other error include reading due to meniscus. Well, the meniscus is just a little tiny curve of the tube, but it depends how big you have your tube and how exact you want. But you could, they're connected bodies anyway. There's a few laws of connecting a body, but this is a tool that we're trying to go through the definition. So this is what we're going to be using for the straight line test, rectilinear test. And so far we've got two ends that are at the same elevation. No matter where they are, how far apart they are, they will always be at the same elevation, which they say is a horizontal plane of reference. So that's matching elevations on a horizontal plane of reference. Sorry, ballers, but they gave it up last night. Who was it? We had Flat Earth Math that said the horizontal plane is only 2 microns. Big, that's how big it is. And I'll get the Merriam-Webster dictionary. It is worth keep pointing this out, because with this definition of level within Merriam-Webster, it says a device for establishing a horizontal line or plane by means of a bubble in a liquid. Well, that's a spirit level, right? Although it establishes a horizontal line or plane, it's talking about a bubble level. Number 2 says a measurement of the difference of altitude of 2 points by means of a level. Well, it said elevation, but altitude, the same thing. It's just above the floor. That also works, but this is the one we're more concerned about. Is number 3. It says a horizontal condition, especially equilibrium of a fluid marked by a horizontal surface of even altitude. Water seeks its own level. So this one here particularly is talking about a water level, the tool, establishing a horizontal plane a horizontal surface of even altitude. Well, that horizontal's a plane, isn't it? A horizontal plane surface, water level. So that's two sources, one dictionary and wiki. It's enough for me because I've actually used the tool and seen that both of those two definitions are not lying. I would imagine it would be quite hard to get through a dictionary and wiki without making a falsehood. There's no mention of curvature at all. None. Zero. Horizontal condition and a horizontal plane of reference. 2 points. Like Blue said, straight line. Is everyone okay with that? Does that sound good for everyone?
Yep.
And can you think of anything else that we're going to need if we're going to go forward with this water level test in the logic? Anything else that needs defining? Because the rest are geometric points, aren't they? The only tool we're going to use is a water level. And definitions.
Water. Oh, the clarity of the water.
Yeah.
Use distilled water.
Well, any questions that come in about the water that we used within this test, we used distilled water because we drink distilled water. It's the best water. You should drink distilled water. Click the link and get yourself a water distiller. Help you think more clearly. So yeah, we got just water level. That's the only tool we are going to use, and we're going to employ some logic within a geometric understanding as well. We're gonna do practical geometry and practical logic on the board in a minute. So, can anybody think of anything else that might be a problem as far as us going forward if we are going to do a test? Now, bear in mind, this isn't a force the line test. This isn't a test to prove the shape of anything. This is just a straight line test so that me and Spot On can prove to ourselves that level is horizontal. It's a straight line. It's a question that people have put to us. They say their model dictates to them that level cannot be horizontal. Whereas we've worked and know throughout the training that we've been told that level is horizontal. And we've come into a group of people, into an arena, wanting to ask questions of people. And we've been met with like a strange group of people that don't seem to be able to answer questions, yet are fully willing to tell us we're wrong about something that we know to be true. So this is just the basic concept of how we came to this test, like a self-realization. Right, we go on back onto the board. I'll try and do my best. I've not got it's sorted just yet, but I'm gonna get there. Whiteboard, right. Here's the whiteboard. Right, so we'll start off with the blue water level, just one. And we are going to put it I'm going to colour that in there. Right, so we've got here is one water level. Now, from here to here, the water filled up, levels up to that. Right, are you guys hearing that? My headset keeps going, so I don't know whether I can hear you guys. You wave at us or something.
Yeah, we hear you.
So the water levels to there. Now it's not going to be higher at this end or lower at that end. There's no way it can be. Although some ridiculous people might think that it has to be, like Jesse Kozlowski says, the water level drops, but that's ridiculous. And for this, we're not interested in ridiculous statements. So these water levels are at the same elevation. It evens out to there. Now, the question is, in order to establish a plane, which we already know it does. I mean, like, doing that is enough for most people. But what we're after doing is finding a proof and a way to actually prove this. So, the question, you put in this here. Like, you put one in the middle. You just tap it in. Now, the water, if you add that in, the water will establish a level again. Just because there's an extra one involved in it, it's still going to be at the same level as this one and this one. Has to be. So we'll fill that up there. Right, now we've got that set. The question is, how do you prove it? How do you check? How do you make sure? How do you prove this to yourself? Well, I just put it out as well. Anyone, how big is this? How big's it going to be? Does it matter? Does it matter for this test at all if this is 10 meters and this is 10 meters? Maybe this is 100 meters. 100 meters. Maybe it's a mile. Maybe the whole thing's a mile. Maybe half of it's a mile. It doesn't really matter, does it? So the question. What are the pens like? Do you like them? Right. So we've got 2 more water levels. This is just the easiest way I think to describe this. Our test is slightly different, but similar. It works on the same principles, right? So the water levels, you fill the water level up to make it match here or here, right? So you fill that up and you fill that one up there. And the water level will establish its own level again. So when this one fills up and it matches, goes there, and then this one also fills up to be the same there. So because it doesn't need an eyesight or an eye line or anything, all you're doing is keeping an eye on this bit here to make sure that all of these are the same level. It's the only way it works. Put the level on like that, and they're all the same level all the way across. There's no dropping and there's no humping. So if we rewind a bit and play the ridiculous game, because that's a proof game, right? That's what would happen in reality. But other people say, like, let's say you stood here, would this one drop? I mean, like, is there any way this one could be lower than this one over here? Like,
the water, you mean? No.
Yeah, absolutely not. A drop of one level from the other one would be a change in elevation. That would cause the water to flow and therefore level out to make it that both ends are exactly the same. So stating that there would be a drop is a definite no. It's a fail. Everyone should be able to see that definitely does not happen. But let's say, for sake of them wanting some sort of a curve, right, if people who are going to do it, then they lift the centre one up, the hump, right? There's no drop. There's no drop at that end. So what happens is you get the hump, the double drop hump. This is the paradox. The reality is the straight line test to show that all of these match very simply. The other one is the hump. So let's just play a game for a bit. Reducto ad absurdum. So let's fill this up. Right, now, if this one doesn't exist, and we just take this off here, so this original water level from here to here, without this one coupled up, this we've just undone it, then that establishes, like Blue says, a horizontal plane. It's like a straight line from there to there, regardless of this bit, because it's not even tapped in. It doesn't exist. This is a straight line. The test was to see whether everything lies on the same plane. They say they want a hump. So we're playing the game now. There is a raise up here of the water level from the initial one line. So we'll tap this back in and give them the hump that they've put there. Now, to play the game, we've got one horizontal line that's established from there to there. Now, we're going to have this one here. But if this one's here with a water level, and we come to here, this water level would have to match this one if we're playing model games. It would have to match that one, and it would have to match this one, and this one would also have to match. So we've got
a hump.
Right, well now we've actually got a hump. But problems, because we've got this horizontal, this straight line that runs from there to there, from one end to the other. But we've also got that horizontal there.
Uh-oh.
And we've got that horizontal there. So,
Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
Mm-hmm. This is a bit of a problem because in the space where we have one horizontal, or when we should only have one horizontal spanning from here to here, we've now developed two other horizontals that are opposed to it. They're different. They're not the same. This horizontal here is not the same as this horizontal here, which is not the same as this horizontal here. We've got three opposing horizontals, which is impossible. You cannot have three different horizontals around the space where there is only one horizontal plane. That's the basic concept of the straight line test. And this can be done very simply. In reality, with even less than 1 mile. We did it 400 meters. Slightly different method, but this is the test that Blue is saying is a falsehood. We've been over this test a few times. Tried to talk about
it's sheer fantasy. Sheer and utter imagination. La La Land fantasy.
For the model, yes. Let me just turn this Discord back on. So that's, again, the paradox of the drop, that the drop is impossible. So it's hardly surprising they do not want to use the word drop. And the hump.
Or hump, yeah.
Is also as ridiculous, or just as ridiculous.
And their model dictates both. Holy schmazolas.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't think that the model does dictate both. The model dictates drop. But the drop is such a ridiculous concept that they have to come up with another way that it could be imagined. And then they imagine that in the distance, you know, like further away than you could possibly get. That's another trick that happens. But no, we've got these tests and these numbers. They're not that massive. We've been given the numbers from the ball. Like, we know the straight line will be proved at all points, at all times. The water levels will match. It's whether you have an idea that you think it's curved. It's a personal journey, and it's a personal proof that you will find at the end of it. But these Euclidean concepts and the basics about the rules of logic and the rules of reality, you either live in them or you don't. All of this. Go on. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that this is not hard. This is water and a straight line. You're not talking algebra, calculus, or space-time continuum here. It's water and a straight line.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with SE on that.
And it's not questionable. Everybody has been on the water, right? Everybody has been. I'm assuming here, right? It's a big guess, but sorry, I think I'm. Yeah, I was gonna say everybody's been on the water, so I mean it's easy to understand that the water does not hump or drop.
So to bring it back to the Euclid and the reality of Euclid, that to prove that all of those points, like one part of that straight line lies within a plane and a part without it, in one of those scenarios that we just explained, there's only one scenario where the plane exists. And that's the scenario that they cannot have happen. The one that cannot exist. Because they've designated that one thing as flat Earth. Well, it's not. It's reality. That's the horizontal plane that we use to measure elevation changes in reality. So this is more of a case of reality versus the ball than globe versus flat.
This is reality versus fantasy. This is what this is.
Yeah.
Some people think that water could cling around a ball. I mean, that's fantastical to me.
Yeah. This is Mr. X says to the model afflicted, if horizontal can be measured anywhere on Earth, including any intersection where other measured horizontal planes meet, and planes align with straight lines that don't deviate, wouldn't that therefore entail that there's not a place on Earth where horizontal will deviate from straight, i.e. not bendizontal? Yeah. T-shirt logic, all horizontal planes are parallel, is enough to sort of well, I mean, that is reality and it can be proved. That's how all horizontal planes are measured by a tool called a level, and a water level is the tool of choice of us for doing the straight line test. It's not hard work to put the pieces of this test together yourself mentally. What would happen? You can put there's 3 water levels are just laid out on the thing there. They can be done at any distance One with 3 points and then 2 smaller ones. Everybody knows what it is already. The fact that we actually did this is ridiculous, but we only did it to prove it to ourselves that we could do it. That was half of the test. Could we do it for ourselves on our own? Is it possible for us to do it? Turns out, yeah. Me and Spot On did it. And we're going to be doing it again. You want to join us? Come and get a water level. Come and ask us how we did it. You can do it for yourself. It takes a bit of planning, a bit of sorting. But yeah, it's definitely achievable. Proofs are out there for people to gain. Depends what you're after proving, and you should know that you can only prove it to yourself. Sorry, SE, go on.
I know, Bev. I was just going to say that was one of the best demonstrations I've seen of the absurdity of the notion of a hump. That was pretty nice. Like, you can work it out in your brain, but when you see it, you know, it helps the model afflicted, shall we say.
Yeah, I'd see. I'd still be keen on hearing anybody to have a go at that. Any one of the model afflicted to come and explain to us how that works. I tried to have a chat with Math and all of that. There's many people I've tried to talk to about this on the model side. I mean, me and Spot On, we have been talking to people for quite a while, like 2 years. We've developed this test and we've done the test. We've talked to people on the canal whilst doing the test. Real people. It's been interesting to see what people are after and what people think. And as we said, like, whenever anybody asked us what we were doing, we were just doing a practical Euclidean geometry test in reality to prove a straight line. Is it achievable? Can you do it? Oh, hey up. Thanks for coming and watching, Blue. What do you think of the Euclidean geometry in reality test, Blue? What do you mean? What? Oh, let me just check here in the. That's what happens, and those 3 points are not in a straight line. That's the fallacy. Is he? That's the first thing he said. Are you talking to yourself, Blue? You give us a bit more context. That doesn't seem to make any sense. It seems like you're talking gibberish. I'll read it again just in case it was me that I did it wrong. Blue says, that's what happens, and those 3 points are not in a straight line. That's the fallacy. What's what happens? A hump? You said slope, Blue. Like, in your proof, you've got a slope in that video. Where I've got here, it was an old video of mine about 6 months ago, Blue. It says, Blue Marble Science says he can prove a curved water level. And I called it Game On, Blue. I don't know whether that's where Bob got the game on from. Maybe a challenge. It may sound cool. Game on, Blue. Bob thought, I'll have that. I can be devious and cunning as Bev. Blue's making a video about us. Oh, it's about this water level thing, I think. About Euclidean proofs in reality and how to prove Euclidean geometry. Seeing whether we can get it sponsored by a university. Do you reckon to that? I think it sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? Whether we could do a test to prove Euclidean geometry and proposition 1. Because we could do proposition 2 as well. I mean, proposition 2 is Euclid. I'll read it out. There's not much point me putting it out there yet, but seeing as we are on Euclid, it says 2 straight lines which cut one another are in one plane, and 3 straight lines which meet one another are in one plane. So the second one is to prove not the straight line, it's about the plane. But you have to first off take your first proof of the one straight line cannot be in a plane and another part without it, which is like the water level. When you, because if you establish from one line, one end to the other way, you just have the traditional 2 ends of a water level. If you just have that as being a straight line, then you can't put a hump in the middle, because then that wouldn't be in the same straight line.
I have a question for Blue.
Oh,
Hey, Blue.
Gone. I think he'll just dropped her. He's still listening, though. I hope.
If he's listening. Which one of the 3 lines are not straight? The one in the middle? Or the 2... I don't want to put words in your mouth. Which one of the 3 points, I'm sorry, on the line?
Slope.
Tough question.
Yeah. No, there's no reply. He's doing his hard work in his video. I'll leave a bit of silence there for him to reply, thinking that he might actually reply, but no. It's too painful for them, and he knows That's why I said, Blue, are you sure you've been given the go-ahead to tackle the water level argument? Because it's a little bit tricky, and I don't think you've got the qualifications to be able to do this, Blue. I think you've gone rogue. You've gone model affliction crazy. There you go, that's another one. Model affliction madness, where you just sort of go rogue and you forget that you're trying to defend a model, and you think that the model's already proved itself, but forget that there is no proofs. Everybody else has give up proofs. The only people with proofs are those of us that have a firm understanding of Euclidean geometry. But you guys are giving that up for 2022. We're taking Euclidean geometry like we got Rakir's bridge. We're going to take Euclidean geometry, so get ready. Blue. Just make sure that when you do your proof of the water level, Blue, you state which geometry you're using. And see how it comports with... because we are definitely using Euclidean geometry. It sounds fancy, but everybody knows about. It's just straight lines, triangles, squares, circles, the usual sort of geometry, but it has an understanding behind it that they're not just shapes that you make. They're there because they exist. They're there, like Mr. Xavier said. In order for something to be defined, it has to be there to be defined. You don't define things into existence.
Has to be tangible.
Yeah. I was busy today, but I'll find that thing that Mr. X put, and I was gonna put it on the website because it, along with what Raven said the other day, these definitions at the beginning when you start off the conversation, you have to have a firm understanding of what you're talking about. And Euclidean geometry does that with all of the known sayings of words like straight and circle and triangle and square. And we all know what they mean because they are. They're there, they're true. It's obvious how you form a circle, how you form a triangle, 3 coplanar points, and they all follow on top of each other because they are there in reality. And they are described within Euclidean geometry. It's a descriptor. That's the method for finding the proofs. And I would suggest that the proofs or the truths are the things that are wrote down in Euclidean geometry. They are the mathematical proofs of reality and the mathematical laws of reality are within geometry, not within the numbers and not within the equations, but within very simple basic concepts that are there for everybody to grab hold of. But Blue's going to take on the bending water level. If you want, Blue, I would suggest because if you don't, we are going to be doing pretty soon, is bringing Slice Barcane back into this, because Slice Barcane has a bending water level test himself. But I don't think he went for the hump. I don't think he mentioned the hump. It's really strange, because he's another one that's never come and talked to us. Which is strange, seeing as he's got the bending water level test. And that's what Blue's after getting... Because we just have a simple rectilinear test. Straight line, rectilinear. Should help a few people, that, because that would put the bottom line of an angle as the rectilinear, the straight line at the base, proving a straight line as a horizontal plane. Doesn't do much other than just prove a straight line on a plane, like a proof. There you go, Mr. X. Is that Twitter? Yeah. Oh, that's good. Newsletter of Mr. X. Where's that from, Mr. X? That's pretty cool. I'll put it in the YouTube. In the YouTube. I'll put it in the definition. Have you just done that recently, or is that a one from your old things? Because that's pretty good. On point definition. The meanings of words. Very, very nice work there.
I like the last part. Definitions are useless without something to define. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't mind, I might take some of that and put it on the website. That's good stuff that people should, especially recently, because we have been saying that in order for us to have conversations about things, the definitions, there's definitely something for us to learn from Euclid. And that is, in order to have a true structured argument laid out where you can establish proofs and all of that, you first off have to fully define and have an understanding of the definitions of the things that you're using. You can't go into things with a willy-nilly sort of understanding of where you're going to rely on later on, which is, again, it's familiar story. I don't want to labour on the point, but the definitions are very, very important for us, for me. And I'm going to be working on the website a fair bit more, hopefully. I keep getting distracted, though. People keep distracting me. So has anybody got any other things about Euclid in reality? I mean, obviously, the link between Euclid, logic, reality, say geometry, logic, reality. Euclid was just a group of people that ordered all of this stuff to make it understandable and follow in an axiomatic system. Perfect axiomatic system. So the links between reality and all of this stuff are going to be limitless, like, because it's all there. It is, the truth is there. You've just got to go and look for it, find a way to achieve those truths. Now, if it's in reality, natural laws and all of that, then there are obviously going to be proofs for it. That's what hopefully we're going to be about. Working out tests, finding out things, working out how we're going to do these proofs. Try and build forwards rather than trying to disprove something. We're trying to actively prove it. Now, we know there's going to be loads of people like Blue. Has he not come back yet? No, he's not come back. So yeah, we just want to be able to prove things. And I offer up the chance for Blue. If he thinks there's anything going on, anything funny, just, come and have a discussion about it. Work through your problems. Or you could just make a video bitching about it. Which I suggest, I think you might prefer, rather than just coming and having a conversation. Because you keep banning everybody from your server. So making a video about us would be a brilliant idea. Show how big and grown up the adult Discord servers are. You've got loads of Greek words for level. Nice. It's weird the way words work backwards and forwards, isn't it?
Epipe, though, is the main one. Also means plane, layer, even, levelness. That's the noun.
Well, proofs in reality. Euclid. This is one of those things that we were doing when we first started looking into this, and you start wondering about the straight line and all of that. Well, I came into this because somebody said that level has had to be curved. And I said, don't be silly. You can't bend a straight line. And they said, yeah, you can. And it's been a journey ever since, just to I guess it's a journey to find people that that also think that straight lines can't curve, because it's getting harder and harder to be able to walk around some of these servers and say, yes, I think straight lines aren't circles. Can't see how a straight line could be a circle. It's dangerous to say things like that in Discord servers.
Yeah, I'm sure anyone you meet on the street and you say, you know, a straight line can't be a circle, most people are going to be agreeing with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah, in reality out there, and when we were doing this test at the side of the canal, nobody disagreed. I mean, how could you have it dropping, the water level dropping? And you can't have a hump. I mean, that's just as ridiculous. The people that's the naysayers, like Blue Marbles, with after the slope of the water level and all of that, you know, how can you possibly think, I don't know, crazy? How can you have a hump or a slope of water? But Blue says he's got proof. Blue says we're being dishonest when we say we've done our test. Blue doesn't want us to misrepresent the straight line test. So Blue's going to be the one to make a video about it, no doubt. So, should we, what time is it? 20 past 10. Is that good enough? Is that, anybody else got any proofs in reality from Euclid? Because I think that's a good enough, is that good enough introduction into the solid geometry of Euclid? Like, the purpose of all of the Euclid stuff is to lead up to the stuff in reality. I imagine when they said they needed proof of things in reality, they said, how do we get that? And it's like, well, we could just do it in reality. And then somebody said, but how's that proof? You need to found it on something. And they just went back to all of the beginnings. Where do we start in reality that we can start building our proofs on? And obviously the first bits of the Euclid is plane geometry. You're talking about concepts of straight lines and circles and triangles, and that's the conceptual geometry on the 2D plane that doesn't actually exist. But the actual reality is book 11. That's the where reality geometry actually happens. And you take all of the concepts that you've learned and you implement them into planes and vertical planes, horizontal planes. You lay plans out. You make elevation plans. It's all implemented into reality through the foundings that you've made in the earlier 2-dimensional books. So the actual Euclidean geometry is founded in reality, right? It's come from the concepts, but it's made to prove reality, I think. Like the end concepts of where you go and where you learn from the Euclidean geometry ends up in reality. And what it does is it ends up proving that there's one shape that they really have a hard time describing. And that's the one shape that it's got to be to start off with a group of people. We open the floor up to anybody else willing to talk. I don't know whether there is anyone. Right, these Euclid nights are going to get harder and harder, aren't they? Because, like we say, the audience that we would have had has been halved. There's people who don't believe Euclidean geometry will mean anything. They don't think it's used. They think it's old and antiquated.
Check out what I just posted.
The Chinese word.
That's the Chinese word for level.
Cross.
Nice. Is that cool?
Yeah. Balanced on either side. Yeah, that's nice. Parallel. Perpendicular. Balanced. I like it. It's DP around. No, that's good. That.
And that's gonna love this T-shirt.
Yeah. 3 lines, near enough. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Put that in the I'll copy it and put it in there for later. In the agents. Sweet. Yeah. So Euclidean geometry, everybody knows whenever you go to engineering college and schools and doing all of that, everybody uses Euclidean geometry. Everybody knows that. So how people have ended up with the concept of level curving is a fascinating mind trick. that's been employed by a group of people that have just, I don't know, I can't say whether they've do you think they've blatantly lied to us, or they just have to go with the it has to be method of?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
As in, some people will blatantly lie, and some people will say that it just have to be right. I think there's both.
Yeah. Yeah, combination of both. Which is
It's what they were taught, you know? Some people see beyond the lie, and some just accept it, and it's their mantra. They fight for it. This is what freaks me out. Not only do they believe it, they fight for it free of charge. It's like having lawyers for you, you know, when they say on retainer, right? But free of charge. It's
Yeah, it's the model affliction. It's too strong. There's a lot of people that will fight for something that without any founding in reality. Like Rumpus giving up Euclidean geometry. Brenda.
That was crazy.
Yeah. I'm going to clip Brenda in there as well, because they make a lovely couple, don't they? Brenda and Rumpus. We're all model afflicted, but to give up Euclidean geometry as a means of measurement, because that's what it is, right? The basis of Euclidean geometry is all based upon measurement, and the measurement being the straight line, the shortest distance between 2 points. So how can you do away with that for a model?
Yeah, I mean, Euclid builds on the logic, and each step within Euclid follows on from the previous. So if you do give up Euclid, you're giving up logic, the base logic underneath the Euclid. So, yeah, you're gonna run into a lot of trouble if you do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does go along with the theme, the proof project, right? They've given up proof. And basically, Euclid is a book of those proofs, isn't it? That's what they're giving up. The method in which to find truths. And once you give up Euclid, then I guess you're giving up those proofs. And the method to obtain them. I mean, that model's got a firm hold on you if you can do that. Like I say, I'm not a flat earther. I just live in reality. And I cannot give up straight lines and all of this for a model that has no proof. I know there's no proof for it. And I'm not going to give up my sense of my understanding of what a proof is and how to gain those proofs just because there's a model that somebody else tells me is there. I want to bash on the model, but yeah, the model's gone. The model is no more. Logic's come back, took the model, I never really had the model, but I can't see how a model can exist once you start contemplating these questions that seem to be brought around. First off, we've had Betty taking the logic over there to Bob's and Blue's, the adult Globe Earth Discord servers. And I don't know how well they're doing with logic and how long the little ticking time bomb works for logic. But it seems to be snowballing, getting bigger and faster recently. Whereas they've just now they've give up Euclidean geometry. So it's going faster and faster. I mean, I don't know where they're gonna go. They've got nothing left to found their beliefs or anything on, other than the shoulders and shadows of giants. Standing on the shadows of giants, they are. And they never really wrote anything down. They just sort of... I don't know.
It sort of seems to depend on where the conversation goes, and like at which point do you bring in geometry to the conversation. And depending on the context, when you bring it up, will dictate which part of the geometry has to be given up in that moment. So the more you talk about geometry, the more of it's going to have to go until there's nothing left.
Yeah, well, Euclidean geometry, because of the way it's built up, you can't just take a piece of it out. It's not as if it's one of those things where you can just change one axiom or something like that, is it? Because it all builds upon itself, so there's nothing in there that's not needed, and there's nothing in there that can be changed. It's a perfect system. Yet Fantasyland, Imaginometry has to do a little better, doesn't it? What's the lure? Like, what's the bait? Wait, why is Euclidean geometry being given up? It's a good question. Proof Project will help us out with it, I'm guessing.
I have my fingers crossed that Blue will do an actual, curved water level test instead of just bashing on whatever he feels like bashing on. Like, please just do something practical instead of just being mad on the internet. That would help a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, you put your donkeys in there, right? But make a point, Blue, if you're going to have a go. Like, be constructive about what you're saying. And try and remember that we have actually done the test. I've not laid out the actual test that we've done. It's a little bit more technical than that one that I showed you earlier, but based on similar principles. It's a hard time for the globe model believer, and, well, any model believer. Because I don't think there's any way you can prove a model. Well, you can draw a model to show people a concept. But the proof would be the reality of the thing being done, which wouldn't actually prove the model. It would prove that the model was an accurate representation of reality. It's a hard word to get a grip on the model once you start talking about it, because it's been assumed to be reality for so long. The model. So everybody's concept of reality obviously is reality. And if all you've ever done is linked a model to it, then of course the model is associated with reality. Does it comport to reality? No. The moment you start testing it, it fails.
Yeah, the proof project, shout out to that, because having a like a basic grasp of what proof would be, a definite conclusive proof, is going to take you very far, and goes for anyone, of course, but without it you are not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. And I think that you'd struggle for the understanding if you were to have a discussion with somebody. I know people have been trying it for quite a while. This idea of, well, I've got more qualifications than you. This hoity-toity sort of view of everything. Well, this proof thing it's more real. It's more tangible. And it definitely gives you an upper hand when you're ever going into a conversation with people who are, let's say is I don't know, like I say, a university lecturer, right? Well, a university lecturer that I'm talking to, well, they won't have a clue about proof, an understanding of it. They just won't. Nobody does. There's not many people that have contemplated what a proof is. I've got them. I own them. I don't think anybody else, I don't say anybody else, but it definitely means that somebody, once I'm talking about that particular subject that I hold a proof for, I'm the one. It doesn't matter how much intelligence the other person has and how many qualifications it has. It doesn't alter my proof at all. And I'm quite glad I found that. Like, Fight the Flat Earth ended up giving me that confidence. And I think it'd show if we were ever to go back into the conversation again with any of these people. I think my proof that I've gained through this discovery and this journey that we've been on, like, it's more, means a lot more to me. And the confidence. That's what I'm glad I've found in this journey. Yeah, I'll link that video. Put it out.
Yeah, that's a must watch, that one. That's a mind blower.
Yeah.
If anybody is wondering why they behave the way they behave and why they think the way they think, just watch this video.
Yeah, the minds of children the education system.
Yeah, shout out Mobius. He put this out 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been around. People have seen it, but it takes time for you to actually see it. Do you want to get that in the pop it in the chat to get it out for people later? We'll put it in get a playlist going or something. I'll have to sort my YouTube channel out. We'll try and get it a bit more structured.
Yeah, that definitely deserves a spot on the playlist. Yep.
What do you think about as well? Somebody said that the other day it'd be a good idea for us to go over videos. You know, to like go over Professor Dave or any videos of, you know, let's say Bob the Science Guy, or you know, any videos like that. Maybe get people to suggest videos. We'll go over them. Maybe get people to come in on the panel to go over them. See if anybody's got any points they want to go over. Certain videos. I don't see why we shouldn't be able to do that. Maybe schedule a day for doing that sort of thing.
Sure, if people are requesting it, yeah.
Well, it's Friday tomorrow. I'm suggesting Free for All Fridays continues, but I'm not too sure whether anybody wants to come in. Oh, we did actually have FE Pilot. Was that? He was saying that he was going to come on Friday. He's busy schedule this week, so he might be coming round tomorrow.
Flying around the globe.
Yeah, I don't know anybody else, and I'm not too sure what exactly will happen tomorrow, but the developments obviously are Blue, who's making a video about us, and I think it's got something to do with Rakir's Bridge, which I've asked him to make sure he's allowed to do that sort of thing. I would hate to see Blue getting into trouble with the bigwigs for the Globe Council.
Think about it twice, Blue. If it's on Rakir's Bridge, I'm telling you, think about it twice, bro.
Jesse's done a runner. You don't want to be bringing him back. Like, Jesse doesn't want to come back, Blue.
Yeah, you're good. Like, I don't mean it to sound like a threat. It's like friendly advice, like type of deal.
Yeah.
You sure you want to get into this? I don't want this to be misunderstood, like type deal.
Yeah, I don't like you. There are people have been and gone, and they've left the arena because of this very thing, Blue. I would hate to see you not around here. I mean, who would look after George?
That bridge is a paradox. So tread carefully, Blue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's poison to the model, that.
Oh, yeah. Like kryptonite to Superman.
Yeah, they shouldn't have done that in the first place. There's a few mistakes, I think, that's been made by the Globe side. One of them was Mick West starting the curve calculator thing off. The other one was Jesse Kozlowski saying on Jose's that the water level drops by 8 inches from the horizontal, by 8 inches times the distance in miles squared. And then, of course, you had Walter Bisley making that model for Jesse on that bridge. And then the final nail in the coffin was done by Ruhif, who said auto levels can measure angles, which they can't, and he started off the Ruhif numbers, which are the local drop numbers. Local, that is. Whereas that's where the horizontal's meant to be. The horizontal plane is local. But then, because the numbers that Ruhif gave us, thanks a lot Ruhif and the Ruhif numbers, and there were many others, Puppy, whatever, Brad the Science Guy, there was quite a few. They helped us out with all of those numbers, so that gave us the local numbers, and that proved that they didn't have a clue what they were talking about, because level is horizontal can be proved, therefore disproving local drop numbers, because everybody knows there can't be a drop, there can't be a measured drop from horizontal in the first place, and whoever said that is a bit ridiculous, and that would be the man called Jesse Kozlowski, unfortunately. But Blue wants to try and revive it, which I'd like. It would definitely bring the conversation around. Obviously not for us, because nobody wants to come and talk to us. But I'll waffle on about it for a bit. I'd love to go back to that bridge and go over it quite a few times.
Anytime, Blue. Anytime you want to talk about that bridge, please come on in.
Yeah, I've got a little clip that I showed everyone, Blue, for how Jesse Kozlowski measured it. So anytime you're ready, you can put that video out. I think it's 3 days. Is it on Monday? Blue, you get your video link. Has anyone got that link for Blue's video? We'll put it in the chat and we can make sure nobody misses it.
First time I hear of it.
Have you never heard it? I'll have to go back.
Well, I heard he was making one like weeks ago or something, or at least a week ago, but I haven't heard one made already.
He put like a video. It must be uploaded because he's scheduled it for release.
Let me have a look.
That's quite a lot of chat. Here it is. January 31st. There you go. Curvature of the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge and Bev's clear FE bias. Ooh. You like that?
Blue, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do this?
He's calling my use of Euclidean geometry and reality a clear FE bias.
This is going to be worse than LIGO. think about it, Blue.
No, I'm looking forward to it.
So am I, but I'm just trying to give him some friendly advice, which is probably not going to take, but okay, at least I tried.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm guessing, like, if he's scheduled a video, because he says it's Try Thinking's Lake Pontchartrain truth bending. Well, it's not bending of any truth. I mean, we've got all of the data and everything. I've got Jesse's stuff. And we've got the geometric proof that it definitely can't be a hump.
Has he been not listening about the paradoxes?
Well, I think they choose to ignore it. You know, if they're just listening in, then they can always pretend that they never heard anything and they didn't understand it. They're confused about paradoxes. It puts a short circuit.
I mean, I mentioned this before, but your paradox essay is really great because it involves the law of identity. You have to break the law of identity to hold that paradox as truth, which is ridiculous, of course, but I think that's partly why they don't see the paradox, because they've willfully broken the law of identity before they get to the paradox at all. So I think that's part of why they can't see it, because they've already allowed it beforehand.
Yeah. It's in their mind before it goes in. It's like a filter, no? Yeah.
Yeah, the filter is turned on before you even start explaining the paradox, so they don't understand it because they've already allowed for the violation.
Yeah, there's a few videos that I would like to go over because, you know, obviously we've been talking to the surveyors, and the geometry that's basically how you measure the land and interpret the measurements into a geometric form. Now, obviously, because it's Euclidean geometry, and Euclidean geometry, it's not difficult. It's very simple. So therefore, it'll be easy to explain that. The discussion and the problem comes when you ask somebody on the other side to explain their model, and they can't. And they will just avoid the conversation because the model's not real. And what's going to happen is that there will very soon become very apparent that we're talking about reality on our own. And there will be a group of people making videos ridiculing us talking about reality. And I think there will be it's whether people can stick with it whilst facing all of the ridicule that comes from a group of people that don't have a reality. They literally willfully break the law of identity, which means they don't have an understanding of what reality is. They change the definitions and the meanings of words to suit the argument. Blatant sophistry.
It's like I said earlier too, the law of identity, it is so important. That is the same logic that allows you to put the correct shoe on the correct foot in the morning.
Yeah. Euclid must have been biased. It's very true. I mean, they definitely say if Euclid was to write the book today, yes, Euclid would definitely have been a flat earther. Without a doubt. He wrote a book that literally has all of the blocks ever needed for the globe model. It's wrote in it. It's wrote in the book. It's wrote in the logic. That's why they founded it on logic. In order for the globe model to exist, like Saragaki says, they have to break the law of identity, which is the first law of thought. that A is A. They want A to be A and B and possibly C. Maybe even D with an outside chance of E. It's madness. Like to come into an arena as a nobody, triggered in, but you know, brought in by somebody who was just after clicks and likes on his YouTube channel, and after ridiculing people, brought in by that to find out first off that, you know, you're talking to grown adults about a straight line. That was one of the strangest things to realise when I was coming in here. Like, I'm 50 years old and I'm talking to adult men about a straight line, arguing sometimes, and sometimes talking for 3 or 4 hours, not being able to come to a conclusion with a certain people about a straight line. And it's all because of a model affliction. It's a model that makes grown men and women, perhaps, I don't know. Never really had a discussion with a globe woman. I don't think there's that many of them, to be honest. I don't think there's that many women in the arena. They all sit in the background controlling people. Like puppet masters. I know, we've got Emma. Yeah, I've got some videos that I would like to go over. The chats that are the surveyors of this arena and what they actually go over, and the ridiculousness that comes about. I mean, I think that's where we've got to be, is that we specialise in asking questions, and the people that are normally around here are the people who've been kicked out of all of the servers for doing just that, asking questions. And what we do is we accumulate all of these questions, and it's just a matter of timing when to ask the right question. That's what we try and do. And I think that's what we should be doing. We should be compiling a list of all of the best questions. And then we should be talking to each other and working out when is the best time to use these questions. We should be discussing them. We should be discussing how these questions had a reaction and what sort of a reaction and how it could have been done better. How the question could have been reformulated for that situation. So if you ever find yourself asking or asking questions and being shut down, never answered, come here. Come to the next level. Come and talk to us. That's what we're all here for. Come and chat and come and ask us the questions. There's loads of people here that like answering questions or telling you with like, you don't, that's a good question. That's what we're after. That's what I'm after anyway. If we can't answer it, hopefully we'll try and find somebody. Yeah, free super chats. just sponsored. Is that what a sponsor is? I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, you get every so often they give you a free one.
But that might be what that sponsor was on the thing the other day when it was saying you've got a sponsor. It might be that thing there.
Possibly.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Godzilla says, hey, look, I get another one of these. Wasted it, gods. Wasted it. Thanks anyway, members. You want to get your own sponsor thing on? Come and get a member. And there's nothing special you get. Anybody got anything else? I think didn't I say this about an hour ago? Oh, Death's live with Santos Bonacci. That'll be interesting. So the live the tests that we're going to be doing, we've already done them, but we're going to be doing them again, and on the Discord server we do all live on here. I'm waiting for Blue, to be honest.
Oh, that's gonna be good. I can't wait.
Yeah, well, I think tomorrow, like I say, we'll open the floor up. We'll do a Friday free for all, but I'm not expecting anyone wanting to come. So anybody that new people that want to come and want to have a chat, it's going to be an easy chat. We're all just here, this is a free for all on Friday. If you want to come and have a chat, come and have a chat. Not particularly. Don't want to battle. Don't want to. I don't want to like an argument necessarily. But if you want to come and go over something, have a chat. We will have Friday free for all. I'll get a video or two queued up in case nobody comes for tomorrow. But like I say, I think we're going to try and do this daily at about the same sort of time. And we can go, like some times we used to go for 7 hours. I guess we can do the same. It depends on whether people come in or what we're doing. And if anybody's got any ideas of how we can structure this, or maybe get this the test, or what we've been over tonight with the double drop hump paradox as a way to put it across. Mr. X says logic that's valid isn't necessarily sound. Logic can be valid yet unsound. Logic that is invalid is necessarily unsound. Finally, logic that's sound is necessarily valid.
I like that.
Yeah. You get some good quotes there, Mr. X. I hope you're getting all of this logged down. I'm going to have to try and find some sort of a way of linking all of this sort of stuff, because this is what we're all about. Getting this sort of stuff, it's people need to be able to sort of put all of this stuff together, and I think Mr. X has got the he's got the next step up. I think Mr. X. Oh, Goldie, thank you very much. New member.
Yeah, he's too good for us, bro.
Oh,
Mr. X is he's great.
Yeah, Mr. X. I know at some point that Mr. X did talk to Bebby, but would you like to actually talk to him? Because I think that would be fascinating.
That most people wouldn't be able to understand that. I feel like.
No, yeah, that would be. It would go beyond people's heads, but I would love to hear that personally. And again, thank you, Goldie, new member. I'll get you on the thing. I'll sort that out now. Later on the ticker. Thank you very much, though. It is much appreciated. Well, taken back again. I think that Goldie we said that came from Nathan. So once again, thank you very much, Nathan. So yeah, so anybody that thinks that they can help, because I mean this is a team thing, right? This is the next level. This is all of us, everybody that's here, all do this together. I know I keep talking and fucking moaning on about it. Never shut up about stuff. But yeah, if at any time anybody wants to come in, come to the Discord. This is where it all happens. This is live at the minute, and there's normally a lot more talk and conversation going on. We do play games. DayZ mainly. That's the preferred game for the server. But we do all sorts of stuff. UFC Saturday nights usually. We chat and we talk about whatever. Come along. Get involved. Hopefully, I mean, we have noticed, I have, within myself, the people and the conversations have definitely made me grow as a person. And there's something special that happens when there are a group of people that are willing to be honest with you. That means a lot to the conversation, and it means a lot to the progress that you can make, where you're not having to sift through muddy water or anything, where everybody's trying to give you clarity to move you forward within the thing. It means a lot, and the people that are here in this particular server are some of the best people that I think I've ever met. I mean, I would say that, but I mean that's what we've been here, just hidden away. I think we've been placed here because that a lot of people don't want us to talk to them, but we are going to be changing that very soon, hopefully, if we're allowed to talk to people.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be great to have this conversation with people at Jose's or Fight the Flat, or just anywhere, be able to get those people that hang out there have this unique conversation, but they don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's why I think the Proof Project and getting SE out there. SE's it's a big voice, and I mean, who can not like SE? And it's a very simple conversation. Proof.
He's starting to get some of the blowback, right? He's been banned from a place or two, not on a large scale, but They never kicked SC out of anywhere. And now all of a sudden he's asking what proof is hanging around here. And he's got the bad touch.
Yeah, not wanting to say it's a bad thing, but I mean, I think it's, if at any point the trolls and all of that don't want to talk to you, then you can free your mind of all of that clutter and actually get somewhere. I mean,
and they thrive on keeping it like, that's why this place is good, because like me, I can only speak from my experience, right? Like I felt like I was very good with the arguments, with the logic. I'm able to offer something, but then you just start getting banned and there's nowhere to go. And now you have this thing to offer, but you can't.
Yeah. And especially this thing that we've got to offer, it's so deep and wrapped up in so much confusion, when at the end of it, there's such simplicity. Like, you already knew it. It's so confusing, to get into this. In order, I think it takes you a little while to come and find out that nobody's lying to you, and you have to get accustomed to it. There's so much confusion in the world at the minute that getting used to people not trying to confuse you can be hard work to get a grip on. Knowing who to trust and not to trust and all of that, it's a hard work. And especially if people are listening in thinking we seem like a strange group, and it may be a bit hard to come and get involved. I mean, please don't. We are all just normal people. You may have heard our voices a few times, and we may be accustomed to talking and rambling on and arguing with people, but we are just normal people. There's nothing special about anybody here. Trust me, none of us are anything special. They're just normal people. Yeah, everybody's free to use any of the videos, cut anything that we do, put them out anywhere, share them out, do whatever. All of them. Make them into comedy clips. Some of my older videos, there's some amazingly stupid shit that ballers have said. And they say it now even more readily. I think that's why they don't come. I did start Facebook the other day, but I linked it to Streamlabs, clicked go live, and got banned. I don't know what I did wrong on Facebook, but as soon as I linked it to me multi-streaming, it didn't allow me to do anything on Facebook. Hopefully my lad will come up this weekend and sort it. But yeah, we've got some good things coming. Hopefully we can sort out this YouTube stream. Hopefully we can start out the Discord. We might start opening the Discord up to a community server, which will give us panels and stuff. We'll hopefully get get that working out, get a few more games going. I'm gonna go on the if you've not seen the website, go over there. I've got I can't remember the code for it. I think it was on the level. Let's try that. The website onthelevel.live. We've been doing it for a bit. We've recently put the 12 on there. They are the beginnings for the t-shirt logic, which is still going. If you haven't got your t-shirt, get it now. Support the On the Level. We've got Next Level Live on Twitch that's running at the minute. I also run Bev Try Thinking on Twitch. We was thinking of trying to get all of this sort of stuff out to different places. Maybe Rumble and all of that, but I don't know if anybody else wants to rebroadcast it, live stream it, do whatever. Feel free. We're out up for sharing. And I think Emma wants to go off. So, anybody got any final words from Euclid live? Euclid night reality. Linking. Well, we've got the trifecta, haven't we? We've got the trivium, next level trivium, reality, logic, geometry. All three linked together.
I think one of the best things to have been come up today, except for the water level explanation on the whiteboard, is this proposition 1 out of book 11. I think we should read that one out loud again, because that's really important going forward from here, based on what you showed on the whiteboard earlier anyway.
Right, let me get it then. Copy. I'll put it in the live chat here, so you guys there. Proposition 1 theorem, Euclidean geometry, book 11. Proposition 1. One part of a straight line cannot be in a plane and another part without it. That means not in the plane. Now, I know there's a lot of people that didn't realise that when we were doing our water level test at the beginning, thanks for pointing this out, Saragaki, yeah. They didn't realise that this was where we were building our proof from. From Euclidean geometry. The intention all along has been for us to do practical Euclidean geometry in reality. And that's all we're doing. I mean, who can't get involved in practical Euclidean geometry in reality? I'll tell you who. The model afflicted. They can't even see it. They can't even look at this as a Euclidean proof in reality, because they know that the Euclidean proof in reality destroys the model. I've got to get those things done. Right, anybody else? Any final words? Anybody that's been around? Anybody want to say anything? No? Okie dokie. So we'll see you tomorrow. Go on.
Real quick. So somebody said something about you need reality to define something. And it made me think, like, even if you made something up, right, like a unicorn, you would still have to say it's like a horse from reality with a horn from reality. So even to use imagination, you still have to start in reality and come from reality.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do. I'm I'm just trying to work out where to put the definitional thing in on the website. I'm trying to explain the t-shirt logic, and I'm trying to explain everything, but I mean, I'm guessing it's foundations. I've already got pages of proofs, and it called the evidence room. May have to put it in there at the beginning of that, Mr. X. For the need for having the definitions and all of that, and the reasons for the definitions.
Maybe we should do a whole thing on definitions. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever just done like a show on like just definitions. What is a definition? Where does it come from? Is it agreed upon? Like, what is it?
Yeah, that would be good. Like I say, I've got an evidence room already on the website where I've compiled all of the bits of the definitions of plane and straight and level, horizontal. All of those definitions are all listed on the evidence room. So what Mr. X has done with the the lead up to that, the reasons for the definitions, can go on the website. And yeah, you're right, that's the sort of stuff that we need to be doing, I think, trying to give clarity from the base level of everything. Right. Thanks, guys. We're going to be back tomorrow. It's going to be a free-for-all. And free-for-all meaning, I don't know. We'll see what they come. And if they're not going to come for us, then we'll get a video and we'll go over one of their videos and go for them. So we'll expose a bit of bullshit if they're not going to come over here and have a talk with us. We'll go over their bullshit. So thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow.